now.
Okay.
All right, so what I wanted to do today was, there was no assigned work to do. I just didn't get around to putting together some questions. And I'm kind of getting tired of using these same tables. So what I wanted to do was create a new table, which I guess we did that last time, table grades. But I want to, the same way I did for some of the previous tables, I want to like have a UI so that we can just easily put in the information. So let's see how much you remember about creating UIs. We can just do it together. You don't have to know everything. Just so that it's a little bit easier to put in all the grades so that we can start doing some new queries. Because I was trying to think of new queries and I'm like, I already asked most of the interesting questions we can about these existing tables. So let's add more data. So go ahead to that switchboard form. So scroll down. Yeah. And let's think about where we might want to put grades. So not on professors, I know that. Let's see the student form. Let's see what's in there. Okay, this might be a good place for grades, right? Because you can see all their classes. You see where those red numbers are? I mean, that's kind of just like the back end stuff that we were doing, but we can just delete all that. But I'm thinking what we could do is put the grades like right there, right where those red numbers are for each class. You think I think that's a good spot.
Yeah, we could. I mean, if you don't need these red numbers anymore.
No,
then-
that was just like kind of there to like show you what the IDs were in the background, right? Because
So
that middle
I-
one was, for example, all those ones was a student ID. The far left, I think was the bridge ID, and the far right was a class ID, but I don't. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Let's do that. I like that idea. So close that switchboard in the back. We don't need that for now. Let's right click on the where it says form students, or you can just go to design mode if you know how to do that straight from here. Yeah, or you can do it right here. Yeah, design view. Yeah, and you can maximize that. Is your resolution set to maximum, by the way? It looks like it's tad low.
I don't think so. I don't even not sure how to do that.
Um, okay, don't worry about it for now. It's not a big deal. All right, so first, you see those text boxes with the red numbers?
Yeah.
Yeah, what I want you to do is just click on one and let's make it very small. Like just like make it really skinny because we might use these later. So, let's just make them really skinny and maybe we'll, yeah, and then just put them all next to the delete button. Yeah, it's just, and we're basically gonna hide these. Like they'll still exist, but like you can put it very close to the delete button. You don't have to put it that far. And it's just like, I don't know, maybe I'll use these again later, maybe I won't, but like I don't want to remake them later. So let's just make it small. And I mean, yeah, you don't have to make them that small, but okay. All right, go ahead and highlight all three of those.
Let me fix. I made it pretty small.
No, it's fine. No, put them all back there. Yep, keep them all over there. Highlight all three of them. Yeah. And then what you're gonna do is in the top right of the screen where it says property sheet, click on that. And go to format, or should visible, that's what we're looking for. Change that from yes to no.
Sorry. Visual from yes to
Visible.
no. Oh, visible from yes to no. Okay.
Yeah. And another way is you could just double click and it'll change that from yes to no. It's another way you can, instead of doing the drop down. Anyway, go ahead and hit view. Let's just make sure it's invisible now.
Oh, I have to move the zoom thing. Okay. You said hit view? Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, let's take a look. Okay, great. Just wanted to make sure it actually properly went invisible, and it did. Fantastic. So go ahead back to design view. You can just right click on the header.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to see.
Yeah, normally you would go home, press home, Normally it would be right there, but you're not seeing it right now because of how we've set this form up. So just go ahead and do it the other way.
Design?
You can also do that by right-clicking on it in the forms list where it says all access objects on the left side of the screen. You can also right-click on those and they will also give you the same options.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, see, design view, yeah. So you have it over there. All right, so what we're gonna do next is we want a place where we can type in grades. So what we're gonna do is make a few text boxes. I don't know if you remember how to do that.
I do.
Okay, great, so that's what we're gonna do. That would be a label, and that would be the text box, yep. But we're not gonna make it in here, right? Because okay, and I'm gonna explain why right now. Oh, wait, let me just explain why. If we put it in here, what table do you think that belongs to?
Students.
Exactly. Everything in here belongs to students. Can you hold on a second? Let me see if it'll let me take control of your computer. I'm gonna click request remote control and go ahead and accept that because it'll be easier to point things out this way. All right, cool. So first thing I'm gonna do, it says I'm controlling. Okay, so it's letting me do stuff now. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna get rid of the label. We don't need that label. I like to make my own labels. All right, so we've got this box. I'm gonna click where it says detail, because I don't know if you remember, but this is actually a form within a form. These are two different forms here.
Yeah.
So
one of them is
yeah, because this one is basically students and this one is basically classes. And then we use the bridge to like connect them together. I don't know if you remember that, but that's what we do.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just click this little box here, which basically tells Access, hey, I want the information about this entire form students. So the reason I did that is because I want to show you that the information for the parent form, this big parent form, the students, there's a record source, table students. So if I go to this box and I say, hey, I want to use this box and start putting in data, and I say, well, where do I want to get that data? Notice it's only showing me stuff from students. And that's because when I go to this form, that's what this form is all about, table students. Now, the reason there's class ID is because when I click on this and say, hey, this little child form that belongs to the parent form, and I'll click this little box and say, hey, where does this data come from? Well, this data comes from something else. Instead of coming from a table, because here's the thing, you can specify a table as the data source, or record source, I guess I should say. You can also specify a query as your record source. So what I did was I hand wrote this query, and that's your record source for this child form here. So if instead of making a text box in this student form, I go here and make a text box, and I'm just going to get rid of that label once again. I don't like labels. I delete. If I go here and I say control source, what does it say now? Ah, completely different fields. Why? Because as I was just saying, those fields come from when I look at this child form, and it looks at the record source. And this record source was a query that I wrote. I'm just going to show you the query I wrote, SQL view, and it was the bridge. That was the record source.
Okay. Was this query not actually made automatically after we made the relationships and the
Correct. I wrote this query. At least I'm pretty sure I wrote this query. Pretty positive.
Okay, I don't remember this one, but okay.
All right. So what we're gonna do, the first thing I'm gonna have you take over again. And what I'm gonna have you do is you're gonna make a few text boxes, and then we'll take a short break. So I'll just go ahead and make the first one for you. And go ahead and take back control. And I want you to make a few more, and we're gonna have 5 boxes. Yes, we'll have 5 boxes.
Right, or in the child form, right?
Yes, in the child form.
Okay.
Now you may be wondering why I'm calling it parents and child. Do you wonder why?
I'm not sure what you're. Well, because I mean,
Because one is inside
I don't know why you're
the
calling
other.
it that, honestly.
Well, it's because one is
I don't know.
inside the other. So one is like the master record, and one of them is like the record that depends on the, basically because it inherits something. right? Like, so I'm just going to take control really quick one more time. These classes, what shows up in these classes depends on what student is selected. So the information in here depends on the information out here. So this form is inheriting information from this form. So this child is inheriting properties or information from this parent, right? So that's why it's a parent-child relationship, because this owns this stuff. So if I go view, you'll see, I'll pick a student. This, or this form here, how does it know what classes I want to see? Because it gets it from the parent. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why it's a parent-child relationship, because all these records are children of this record.
Okay, I see.
So if we go to,
I see what you're trying to say.
oh, you have two alvarezes in here. I wonder what's going on here. I need two.
I think you told me to make two because, like, you know, sometimes you'll run into that.
Sure, you could have two people with the same name. That is very true. I don't remember saying that, but that is actually a great way to figure out or to get used to the fact that sometimes you'll have duplicate data. That's totally valid. So that's actually a good thing that we went over that. I don't remember that. All right, so go ahead and take over again. And as you can see, I already made one of the grade boxes. So you're going to make 4 more.
Okay. In the form view, right? Or the form, not the in the form, not the table, right?
That's right, in the form, because we actually already have the information that we need. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to make this, we're going to have the grades show up here, like for the class. So you're just like, whenever you need to like put in the grades for the students, you're going to put them in right here. Now, there's a better way to, nope, undo all that.
Okay.
You want to show you why? You want to show you why you need to undo all that? Oh, put it back. I'll show you what you just did.
Okay.
And hit view, and look what happened.
Well, what the heck?
Yeah, because what you were editing was those little line things, or the basically it repeats that section over and over again for every class. So you made it bigger for every single one that it repeats.
Okay.
So go back and undo all that, because that's not what you want. See how there's only one class row?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it just repeats that same row. So when you made it big for all of them.
I was just trying to make space for more text boxes because I thought that's what
plenty of space, actually. You're just going to be side by side.
Okay. How many do you want me to make?
Well, you can just take the one that's already there and copy it. You don't need to click that.
Okay.
Just copy paste a few times.
Here, way over
just
there.
Keep hitting paste. More. Okay, good. Now just put them all side by side. And right now you'll notice they say unbound. So if you were to hit view right now, you're gonna put them
really.
side by side. You're not gonna stack them.
Okay.
And the reason you're putting them side by side is because if you stack them, if you remember, it's gonna be too big. Right?
Oh, right.
Because you know, if it goes down, it's too big. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, it looks
you
like
cut out for a second, but I hear you.
Yeah, my microphone is kind of glitching a little bit. I could switch microphones if it becomes a problem. Just let me know.
Okay.
All right, so go ahead and make this detail section smaller, because as you remember, we can't have this big. It's a problem. It's this big. Okay, that's good. Now, what you're also going to do is in the form header of this child form is you're going to make some labels. So Let's go ahead and make some labels. It's the third option.
That's this one. I believe.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, it's a label. How many should I make?
You're going to make one for every one of those grade options. So do you remember what each grade option is? If not, then open table grades and you'll see what the options are.
So the options are either 100, 90.
Or no, I'm sorry, I meant the field names.
Oh, okay. Attendance, homework, quizzes, midterm, final.
Yeah, you're going to replicate all that.
Okay. Attendance, homework, quizzes, midterm, final.
You could have minimized it, but that's okay. No, you're not going to type it in there. You're making labels.
Oh, right. Right.
Yeah, because if you type it into there, then it's going to be looking for it as a field, and we haven't set up the fields yet in this form. Yeah, so go ahead and make all your labels, and then we'll worry about spacing in a minute. Yeah, so you don't need to like perfectly do the size. You could just click, and then it will make it. So just click.
Oh, click. I see what you're saying. Hold on.
Did you press escape to cancel that?
Yes.
Yeah, good choice.
Attendance, homework, quizzes.
So save yourself a few. You always want to look for ways to save yourself a few clicks or button presses.
Yeah.
See how,
I don't even
how
have to
that's
shift
faster?
it. Yeah, I can just.
Yeah, you always want to look for the faster way. All right, so go ahead and move that around a little bit. Don't change the size of any of these forms or anything, because it already is a very good size, but try to just move things around in a way that makes sense for what we're doing. Okay, so it's not going to fit over there because we already have class information right there. All right, just go ahead and hit view so you can see what this looks like right now. Right, like that doesn't really make sense.
Oh, I see. Well, it's kind of invisible when I'm in design view.
No, it's visible. I can see it.
Oh, I see. I see. I need to move these stuff around then.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're going to basically move things around. You're not going to change the size of the form at all, but like maybe you can like kind of figure out a way to like make it look good.
Yeah.
So some people, this is their entire job. They literally just create UIs and kind of move things around. And
Oops.
yeah, I don't. Well, yeah, you can do what you like, really.
Damn it, I'm trying to. There we go.
Yeah, so some people, like this is a whole job, UI design, where people just kind of design like how things fit together and how they look and making it look good. I'm not a UI designer, but I have coded websites and access forms and reports and just all sorts of things. So I'm very, I guess, used to it. So for me, it's very easy to do this kind of thing to make it look really good. And so once you're done, I'm going to clean it up for you. So don't waste too much time getting it perfect, and I'll just very quickly tidy up whatever's left. Now you're seeing why I said put those very close to the delete now, aren't you?
Yeah.
Because yeah, we needed those to be out of the way. You know what you could do? You could put them right next to the class ID on the left side.
Just, oh yeah, I don't know what I think of that.
Bash them all in there, and they can be on top of each other. It doesn't matter. Like if there's a little bit of overlap, totally fine.
Okay.
Because it's just again, we're just
that there, but
yeah, we're really just leaving it over there for now. Yeah, so part of the reason I'm having you do this is so that we can have an easier way to put in grades. This is not where we're going to put in grades. Normally you would put in grades um, at the class level for each individual student. But we're just gonna, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna display them here. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I don't know yet. Again, I don't really have a plan for this database because the way every system is different, right? Like we could say, hey, whenever I pull up a class and table classes, I want to be able to put in all the grades and change around the students. But you could also say, hey, I'm a student or I'm a registrar and I need to change around things from the student view and like move around the classes and the grades. Or you could be the professor and say, hey, I want to do things from this view, right? So there's many ways you can do it. And I can think of several ways to do it already, just, sitting here talking about it. So I don't know if this is exactly where we'll manipulate it, but just for now, we need a place to do it. And this is the place. Are you done with?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to take over control and I'm just going to make this a little bit better. So as I said, I've been doing this a long time and, this looks, well, could be better. So, but you don't really do forms a lot. I have, so I'm gonna just make this a little bit better and I'll tell you what I'm doing as I'm doing it. If you look here, there's like exactly one little space between class ID and the top. So I'm just gonna make all of these a one space. And that's what this little grid is useful for. You can see exactly the spacing.
Are you using arrow keys?
I'm using arrow keys. So I'm clicking.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then use arrow keys. Tab arrow, click, and then you can just use the arrow keys to kind of move things around. And I do that because if you use the arrow keys, it matches it perfectly to the grid. Okay. So the other thing is I like my fields, especially if they're all the same size, to be evenly spaced. So for example, maybe maybe this is here and I say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then I do that again. I put it right perfectly there and say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then do it again. Oops. And then I say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And one more time. Oops. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's a technique I like to do. So like just, and now they're perfectly evenly spaced. And then I do this step last, which is moving around these.
The stuff that can't be perfect because
because they're words. Yeah. So I'm just gonna make all these the exact same height. So the height of this one, notice you shrunk it. You made the height 0.1667. So I'm just gonna make them all that. I'm just gonna highlight, format, height, 0.1667, enter. And now they're all that same height.
Okay, and width too, right? Should do. Oh wait, we have to do width manually because each word is a different size.
Yep. And so I kind of just shape things to, and then I'm just going to do one space above the bottom. Yeah. I think this is probably, I'm just kind of doing the best I can here. I think just have to eyeball it. Yeah, that's probably as good as it gets. All right. So there are like little tricks you can do like that. Just makes things a little bit more, easier on the eyes. All right. Yeah. So I want this to be a little bit further to the right because I don't like how attendance is over the delete button. So I'm going to do that. I'm just going to like take everything. Oopsie, undo. Notice how it moved this entire subform. You have to click within the subform or else it thinks you want to move the entire subform, which we don't want to do. So, oh, I did it again. Okay. Click within the subform. Okay. So I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3. We do the same here and same 2, 3. And let's take a look now. Better. Still not where I want it. And we don't, I mean, here's the thing. It may seem like I'm really agonizing over this and like spending a lot of time on this. But I mean, the thing is, people actually do spend a lot of time getting the UI right? Because if somebody's going to be working out of this day after day after day, it has to look, it has to be easy on the eyes. And it has to look professional.
Yeah.
All right, so you really do have to do a good job with how you space things. I don't know if you remember when we were first doing UIs, like you made it, and then I was like, yeah, but like, look how everything lines up. Look how everything is like in a very neat grid. Like that's just like what people have come to expect. Okay, so this looks better.
Yeah, it's a lot better.
And I would say attendance is a little bit too long of a word. It just doesn't look right. So I'm just going to abbreviate that to attend. And sometimes you just have to do little things like this just to like make it look nicer. And let's take a look now. Okay, that just looks better, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I
can
think
move the
this looks-
attend over like a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
A little bit.
No, and as I was saying, this is some people's whole job. Just getting the look of a program or a website or whatever it is they're working with. Getting the look of it right, or report, whatever it may be, getting the look right is actually really important. And I think this form looks really good. So right now, like it doesn't matter what you type in these because they're unbound, right? It's the computer doesn't even really know what to do when I type this stuff in. And if I go over to like the grades, like clearly that number didn't show up anywhere, right? Because I just like, it's not bound yet. It's just unbound.
Yeah, you type those numbers in quick.
Oh, well, yeah.
That's quick. Use the numpad, huh?
I always use the numpad, yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to force myself to use the numpad more often. It's faster.
You're using a keyboard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, numpad is excellent, man. All right, so the reason I made this is because I want grades to show up in here. And the way we're going to do that, we can't do it right now exactly because the query for this, all right, let me just click on this. Remember I showed you that the record source was the bridge?
Yeah.
Well, if we go to the bridge, if you remember, there are no grades in here. So we need a way to show grades in here, meaning we're going to have to change the record source. Let me just see what's in here really quick. Yeah. So okay, this is actually going to be very easy. I'm going to go ahead and hit save. And I'm not 100% sure this is going to do exactly what I want, but let's find out. And instead of using this custom query, I'm just going to change this to table grades. Okay. And then I'm going to hit view and see what happens. Okay, good.
What happened?
Well, I just wanted to see if any errors would pop up, and they did not, so that's good. But I suspect this does not work. Like this is only half the battle, because as you can see, we clicked Jade, and we know she has grades, but they're not showing up here, right? We know she has grades. There's student 1. Where are the grades? What are we missing here? What did we not do? We need to map these text boxes. They're unbound. We need to say where it comes from. So the control source. So the same way, when you go to a form, there's a record source. When you go to a text box, there's a control source. You see that? Did you see how that changed? Form.
Wait. Form
is a record source.
Okay.
Meaning that's like what table you're getting things from. But if you go to the individual text boxes or combo boxes, or the combo box, it has a control source, which is different. And that control source is basically not a table, but an individual field. Here we are. So if you notice, when I went here and I removed the other query that only had class ID, student ID, and the bridge ID, when I changed it instead to be table grades, it now has other things available, which is the stuff that's in table grades.
Right.
Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah, you're saying it's like when you clicked on, could you repeat that last part?
Right, so when I went to the form level, and I'm just going to change it back for you really quick. Or I guess I can't change it back, but I know which bridge it was. It was this bridge. So before it was this bridge. It was this bridge, right? And so the things that were available when you set this child form to that bridge is the stuff in the bridge.
Okay.
But if we change the record source to a different table, and you really could pick any table, right? Like I could have chose class or table professors. Now, obviously, that's going to break stuff. But if you do, what then becomes available in the control source? The stuff in the professors table.
Right.
So what we want here, though, is we're trying to put grades into here, right? So what I'm going to do is instead of using the bridge here, I'm going to use table grades. And by using table grades, now I can use the field from table grades as a control source. And look, attendance. Ta-da. So now attendance will pop up in here. And for this
Oh,
one,
okay. So
I'm going to
you went
use
from the first you
7.
changed the record source for
Mhm.
that part of the form, and then after you did that, you could change what data it was getting
That's right.
and from what table.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and plug in the rest?
Okay.
And I don't know if you remember this, but we kind of, I think before we used the wizard and Access did all of this automatically for us, but this is the manual way to do it.
Okay.
Like I think
I think you actually did it last time.
yeah, I did a lot of it because you weren't as familiar with tables. Now that you kind of know what's in the tables, it's very obvious what's happening, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you kind of needed that foundation of knowing like what was going in all of these tables.
Yeah, or else it would take a really long time to
Right? Like you wouldn't even know what I was talking
figure it out.
about. And if I say, oh, this table, this field, but because we like did all this stuff together, you're familiar enough that you recognize what I'm doing, right? Even if you don't fully, even if you aren't able to do all these things yourself, you recognize what I'm doing,
Yeah.
which is important. All right, so I'm going to take control again, and let's go hit view and see what happens. There you have it. So the
Oh wow.
grades
Okay.
for this student, and for this is student 1. This is class. I don't remember the class ID, so I couldn't tell you. But I can tell you 1, 2, 3, 4. She has 4, grades, or 4 sets of grades, and there they all are. So that's kind of what I wanted to do, just so that it would be easier to see what a student's grades are. And so, I want to be able to just click on someone and see what their grades are. He has no classes. Well, okay, well, all right, so Aaron Ackerman actually does have classes, but we're not looking at the class table anymore. We're looking at the grade table. So there's actually another step that we need to do that I kind of skipped, but I will fix that. We'll go to this Jade. Right, so we're not done because it turns out that it's not good enough to just look at table grades, right? So that works if they already have all their grades set up. If they don't have all their grades set up, then it's just going to show a bunch of blanks, which is incorrect. And there is a way to fix that, and we're going to have to fix that using querying. But I'm not going to do that right now because it is break time. So I'm going to hit save. I'm going to stop the recording and allow you a 10-minute break. So let me just stop sharing. Let me just stop. Okay, we're back. Right. So during the break, I actually looked at kind of our, oh, wait, hold on a second. Let me just request remote control. Okay, I've requested. Go ahead and approve that one. Ready? Okay, cool. So yeah, while you were taking that little break, what I did was I looked at what we were going to do next with this, what we're working on. Students, right? And the thing is, if I like to make this work properly, I would need to do some fancy joining. I would need to teach you how to make pop-up forms. What I'm getting at is it's actually a lot of work to make this work properly. The way that we were doing it, we're going to keep doing it the way we were doing it, but I have a little shortcut that is going to make this go way faster, and we don't have to jump to like certain advanced concepts right now. Like we can save those for later. But what that means is I'm gonna have to take a shortcut right here. So, all right, long story short, I'm basically gonna get rid of one of our existing relationships. Or, well, I'm gonna redefine it basically, and that's the shortcut that's gonna help us make this a lot easier. So what I mean by that is, if you remember last time, we made this table grades relationship. What we're gonna do is, because these have the exact same relationships, meaning they link on class and grade, these two are gonna merge together and become one thing, because they're very, very, very similar. We don't really need both, and it's gonna make it easier for us to work with these forms. So that's what I'm gonna do.
It might break a few queries though.
It will break a lot of queries, yes. Any query that's using this or using this is going to break, yes. Which is why it's important to understand how to query, because sometimes in databases, tables come and go. And so you need to be able to know how to query stuff, regardless of whether or not the exact, tables are there for you. You need to be able to like remake a query and like kind of figure out how to do it, right? So this is a good lesson actually. And maybe, maybe for the homework, I'll have you fix some of those queries. I think that would be a good one, right? So, sorry, give me a second. I'm just gonna write something down, because that just gave me a brilliant idea. You're gonna fix some of these broken queries, because this will break queries. And I think that'll be a good exercise to kind of also refamiliarize yourself with some of the query techniques. So what I'm gonna do, just to make this easier, is I'm just gonna merge these two right now. And the way I'm going to do it might be a little complicated, so I'll explain what I'm doing, but you may not understand it, and don't worry about it if you don't understand it. So, who am I talking to? That's your volume kind of jumping around.
Oh no, just the computer volume was loud, but your mic isn't really that loud.
Oh, okay, yeah, maybe. Would you like me to change microphones and maybe it'll be better?
No, it's fine. Don't worry about it. It wasn't like ear splitting loud.
Okay. Yeah, just next time let me know before the lesson if you need me to adjust the sound or anything like that, and we can get it perfect. So don't worry about that. All right. So as I was saying, I'm going to merge a couple of tables. I'm going to merge table grades. I'm going to merge bridge class students, and these are going to become one table. So basically, because these fields already exist over here, what I wanted to do was just copy all this. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to copy paste, and it's just going to create everything I need. So I couldn't copy from here into the bridge. So when I merge these together, I have to copy from here to here, because these two fields, class and student ID, exist here, but these grade fields don't exist here. That's why I have to go from here to here. Like that's why I have to do the direction that I'm doing. So since we already have some of the grades here, I don't want all of them. So I'm just going to do a quick sort. Let's sort by class ID and then by student ID, so that I can just start here, right? Because we already have all these, right? So I'm going to skip past student 2. And I'm going to start down here, and I'm just going to pull all. Oh, there's a lot. There's 127. Okay, yeah. See, it's a good thing we're doing this with the shortcut. And paste. Ta-da. Yes. And I actually missed a couple of records because student 2, I skipped over them. So let me just make sure I get student 2's records. And the reason I'm doing it second is because they have class 5 and class 8, and I just need to make sure I only grab the other ones that are not class 5 and not class 8. So let me just say we want students 2, and we want everything, or everything except 5 and 8. And then I'm just going to grab these 2 as well.
A little sorting. It's the first time those actually came in handy. The sorting.
Yeah.
Not the first time, but you haven't really.
No, yeah, we haven't really used them because I want you to sort using querying. But like, yes, if you're just like, I'm trying to teach you like the way to do things that you can use anywhere, right? So we can do this in Access, the little trick that I just pulled, but you could not pull this trick in SQL, like Microsoft SQL on SQL Server. And like, you cannot pull this trick in a lot of different databases. So when I'm teaching you a lot of techniques, I'm teaching you the techniques that will work no matter what database you're in. That's what I'm trying to do. So, but the reason I just did things in a non-standard way is because I'm trying to do this quickly, because we only have like, 30, 40 minutes, and it's just a shortcut. I'm not going to explain any of this. I'm just doing it to make it easier for us to continue the other thing we were working on. And so this is just like a quick shortcut that I just basically created everyone's grades for all the classes they already have. And then just everyone has zeros until you put stuff in. So that's basically what I just did. So now let's go back to students. You don't have to know how I did any of that. If you have questions, just ask after, later on. But as you can see now, the grades that you did put in for I remember, if you remember last week, we put in grades for Ron Stewart, but we didn't put in anything for these other classes. Now you can see even his other classes have grades, but they're all zeros. And like this person, we never put anything in for this person, but now they have zeros instead of just blank.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I just did. I basically gave everyone zeros on everything, just so that there would be something there. So that's what I was doing when I did what I did. And the second part of doing what I did, I said I was going to merge tables, right? But before I do, I just want to come over here and check something. Okay, yeah, okay. I was just checking something out. All right, so let's go back to where I was, which is in the relationships. And what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of this bridge. So, okay, it won't let me delete from here. That's fine. I'll delete from here. We no longer are going to use this bridge.
Well, before you delete it, you should make sure you have everything. I'm pretty sure that's what we just did. But
well, I mean, we have the database backed up, so I'm not too worried. So let's just go ahead and kill it. Yep. Goodbye. And so now, if you ever want to get from student to classes, you have to go through grades.
Except so it is useful to have that other bridge then.
Oh, yes. But now, instead of going through the bridge, we can just go through grades because it has those same IDs already. See?
Yeah, yeah.
That's why I'm like, well, we don't need both tables. Why have both tables? We just go through here. Except now, since this is kind of a bridge, I don't want to call it table grades anymore. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here. Yep, save changes.
And call it bridge grades.
That's exactly right. I'm going to call it bridge grades because it's not just a table now. It actually is like a link to other things. So, yeah, how did you know? Good guess. Very good guess.
I mean, that's like what we were doing for the past 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, except now it doesn't show here. So, yeah, exactly. I was preparing it. Okay, and now it's called bridge grades. Now, you may wonder, well, all of these tables really help you link. It's like, no. They don't all help you link. These are like, these kind of just live out there as what's called like an object. I don't know if you kind of know what that means from a programming point of view.
It's just a portion of data.
It's data, right? And it's not like, it doesn't link anything to anything else. It only has one ID.
Yeah, well, because, yeah.
But usually when something's a bridge, it has multiple IDs, grade ID, class ID, student ID. So it's basically a way to like link to other places, which is why it has all these IDs. But like this doesn't link anywhere. It only has one link to go out. Whereas this can have many links to go out because it's a bridge. This one has many links to go out. It's a bridge. So I don't know if that's clear to you, but it will be clearer the more tables we have. And that's why I was so eager to make more tables, because I think it's important that we have more data for you to look at. So we probably should have more. Yeah, okay, I'm going to make one more new table really quick. And we're going to call this table rooms.
You said rooms?
Rooms, that's right. We're going to call it rooms.
Oh, rooms. Okay. I was thinking about Bloodborne. You said, I thought you said runes. No, rooms.
I'm going to call this room 1. Oops.
Anyway, what are you doing?
Yeah. What am I doing? No, that makes no sense. I meant text. That's what I meant to do.
It doesn't even need a room name. It just needs a room number.
True. But the reason I'm doing a room name, I want capacity. Because you want to know how many people fit in the room too. Right? Because then you won't accidentally put too many students in a class.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have room 1, and it has ID 1, and we'll say 30 people, no, say 20 people can fit in room 1.
Oh, I know why you
Say
put room 1.
Room 2.
Or I know why you put room name when you were designing the table.
Yeah, because sometimes rooms actually have names.
Oh no, that's not what I was thinking at all.
Oh, what were you thinking?
Instead of putting just room number, you could, yeah, exactly. I was thinking like, oh, some rooms are like, oh, theater. Some rooms are like room AB, so it's not always a number.
You're absolutely right. Right, you're absolutely right. Sometimes it's not numbered. Sometimes it's like office. Like, or I guess you'd say meeting room, right? It's not. Meeting rooms tend to have.
Yeah, counseling room, a nurse's office. Like
yeah, exactly.
Chemistry lab.
Exactly. These are great.
Wood shop.
Yeah, and again, most rooms have a number and a name, so they have a number and they have a name. So, say 20, and everyone can be in the auditorium at once. We have, say 30. Now you may be wondering, why would we even need this? And to be perfectly honest, we kind of don't. But I just want more data in this database so that we have more interesting things we can query.
Yeah. The more data we have, like I noticed, the more I know the data, the more clear certain things become.
Right. So it's hard to keep demonstrating concepts if you don't have many ways to try it out. So I was like, you know what? Every time we do these sessions, we really should be adding more tables. I was kind of lazy by not adding more tables, and we need to add more tables.
I was gonna say for that last portion, I'll probably fix it later, or you could fix it or whatever. For woodshop, you put 30. I'm like,
well, yeah, you can adjust that if you want to adjust that.
Yeah.
All right, so table. Oops, I put it in twice. I don't need it in here twice.
Some places have a classroom, and matter of fact, most wood shops have a classroom. And
all right, hang on. I'm getting a knock on my door. Give me just a second. 1 sec. Sorry, you know what? My roommate kind of wants something right now. Let me come back in 5 minutes.
Okay.
Sorry about
stop
that.
the recording.
And we're back on. Okay. Sorry for the interruption. I kind of lost my train of thought. Right, I need to request remote control one more time.
Okay.
Am I in full screen? I think I'm in full screen. All right, so, okay, I have control. Yeah, so I made table rooms. Yeah, that's what we were doing, just so I have another thing for us to query with. And I kind of lied when I said that you only have one ID, because now that I'm thinking about it, well, we could bridge it, I guess. Do I want to bridge it or not?
Why would you bridge table rooms? Oh, you mean like attach it to?
I want to attach it to classes. I'm trying to figure out, should I bridge it or should I just put the class ID in here? You know what? I think I'm just going to put the class ID in here. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I know I told you always bridge, but you know what? Sometimes in databases, there is no bridge and it's just a direct connection. So that's what we're going to do. And okay, let's cancel that. I mean, I can explain this another time, what I'm doing here, but default value of yeah, we'll leave that alone for now. And I'll explain what I'm doing later. For now, I'm just going to put room 1 for all of them.
Yeah, why?
Because I don't feel like putting in all the numbers.
Just like a preschool or something, like.
I don't feel like it's gonna take time to type all of them.
Okay.
Paste that. It's good. Look. I'll have you fix this, and then you can decide what rooms things go in.
Okay. Are you holding shift for
Yes, to like select multiple things. That's what
Okay.
I'm doing. You know what? Not only that, but I'm kind of getting distracted here. But hold on a second. Let me write this. I have to write down that I have to come back here, or I'm going to totally forget.
Come back where?
To fix the stuff. I'm not just like writing myself notes to like, hey, you actually have to go back and fix that, right? Because like all the classes, well, they could all be in room 1, right? But no, wait, that's just ridiculous.
You're not going to learn that many different things in the same room.
Okay, so not only are we going to do that, I'm also going to say times. So time slot, and we'll make that short text. Yeah, we'll make it short text. And for now, I'm going to have them all the exact same thing because
It won't break anything though, but we haven't actually. When you already linked
well,
it.
oh yeah, I'm totally breaking stuff right now, but time length or hours. Let's say hours, and we'll say number, and yeah, okay.
I mean, like, shouldn't you have done all that before you linked it so it wouldn't break a bunch of things?
Don't worry about it. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. We will be just fine. All right, I'm going to say it's at 12 p.m. And not only is it at 12 p.m., all classes are at 12 p.m., which is, ridiculous, but make them all 12.
You better increase the capacity to like every student then.
No, we're not. This is going to be one of the things you fix.
No, I'm just.
All right, so you're going to have to like change the you're going to have to change the time slots, and we're going to make every class 1 hour long. And you're going to fix this too. Think about it. If every class is at 12, and they're all in room 1, and they're all an hour long, obviously that's not going to work, right? So this actually would be a good homework question. You can say query anytime, or you can do a query to show the schedule of all classes, right? That would be a good query, right? But we'll get to that later. Right now,
it sounds pretty complicated, but
it won't be that bad.
Well, because the thing, like, I have to look at this table myself first.
Yeah.
To see all the fields and stuff.
Yeah, you're right. All right, let's just enforce referential integrity. Okay, there we go. Bada bam. So as you can see, this is becoming a little bit more complicated looking, but that's okay. And we're gonna have even more stuff. Ideally, maybe next session we'll make a lot more tables, but ideally we want to have like 20, 25 tables to like properly track a lot of this stuff, like what's going on in the school. Right? Like, what about attendance tables? Like attendance for every single day. Don't teachers keep attendance every day for every student?
Yeah.
We don't have a table for that. So we do need an attendance table as well. We don't currently have that, and we're going to make that later. Like right now, we just have a single field. That's like, that's your attendance for the entire class ever. It's just like, well, yeah, but we track more than that, right? So we'll get back to that later. This is going to be something we revisit. But I got really sidetracked making tables. We need to get back to classes. We need to get back to being able to put in students' grades, right? That's the whole reason we did this. So now I can start putting in students' grades. Look at that. Actually, you can just press tab. Oh, tab order is broken. Look at this. It does this one, then the fourth one, then the third one, then the second one, then the fifth one. Let me show you how to fix that. If you go here and click on this first field, you'll see there's something called tab order or tab index. So that one's 5th. This one's 8th. This one's 7th. This one's 6th. This one's 9th. So to fix this, you basically just put in different numbers, right? So what I'm going to do is,
7, 8, 9.
Since this one's 5 and this one's 8, we're going to change this one to 6 instead. And I'm going to change this to 7. I'm going to change this one. Oh, it's already 8. And this one's already 9. Okay, so now hit view. So now, all right, so she already has her grades. Now, what happens if I just put something in here? What happens? Okay, so it won't let me because I didn't select a class. Good. Hit escape to cancel that. All right. Okay, so now let's just start putting in grades. So if I just hit tab, it should really do it in order. All right, look at that. Look at that. Perfect order now. So did you see what I did to fix the order?
Yeah, we went to the property sheet.
Yeah.
Are you clicked on the? I'm pretty sure you clicked on the property sheet and clicked on the bottom form, the classes, the child form.
Yep.
And then you switch the tab border.
Then I went to this particular field, and I went to tab index.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So eventually you'll know what all these do. And all these and all these and all these. Yeah, they all do something. Or you may not learn all of them, but you know, you should learn some. Okay, so remember I said your GPA, you just pick it. Well, we're gonna fix this too. I'm not gonna fix this right now because it's gonna take me a little time, but now we're in the future, what we're gonna do is we're gonna have a little query that figures out the GPA based on what grades they have.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because
right,
it's not gonna be.
I can't just say, oh, you have a 4.0. All right, we're done. It's just like, no, well, what did you actually get in these classes? You know, and then it's going to tell you, and then you're not going to be able to select the GPA. This was just for us to like test out making combo boxes. It's going to look at what the grades are and fill that in based on what the grades are. And I'm going to show you. But actually, we already partially did that query when we did all class grades. See, total grade is like total grade in the class. Like that's part of the work we needed to do.
Yeah, yeah. Still have to calculate GPA and
exactly.
Stuff like that.
But we already like did part of it because we got total. Because if you go back to this, or not this, if you go here, you can see, you can't even see their total grade for the class. What did she end up getting out of algebra? This is the grade for the individual things she worked on, but what is the total grade for that class? For algebra 2, for her? It was 90. So we actually should have had a 6 space to what the total grade is. And then the query should have calculated that for us and put it in there. And then the GPA is when you add up the total grades, like the final grade in the class, not the final test, but like the final grade in the class. That's what makes you figure out the GPA.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, that's more work for later, but now we have a way for you to just kind of click here and like fill all this in very quickly. You know, you can just go here, type in, tab, 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 tab. See how easy that is?
Yeah.
So you should be able to put in the grades for most of the students. Or if you want to do this even faster, you could now just go to bridge grades and do it here and say 35, tab, 68, tab, 90, tab, 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 tab. See?
Yeah.
So if you want to do it here, you can do it here. But if you want to do it on the student form, do it on the student form.
Okay.
Okay. So we're just about done because we've already spent about an hour. And today what we were able to do was we were able to merge the bridge and the grades. And we did that. And we were able to add the grades to the student form, which we also did. And so for homework, what you're going to do is you're just going to make sure that, you know, as much as you can, you know, there are a lot. So I will excuse if you don't do all of this, but, you know, just fill in a lot of these grades for these classes. Okay.
Okay.
Additionally, what I want you to do is come over here to classes and, oh, we need a way for you to pick the room. Okay, well, I'll do that next time. Or I'll probably just do that off camera. But I need to add a way for you to pick what room this class is in. And I need a way for you to like also see like how big. Yeah, okay. So the point is, this is a very, very basic database right now. But as you can see, just by talking about this, there's so much more we can do. There's so much more we can track. There's so much more customization that can be here, right? Like a lot of these, you know, forms we have all these forms. They're so basic. This isn't even close to the amount of information we could be tracking. So I hope you're able to see that there's still lots of work to do. And so there's still, you know, plenty of room for you to like learn. Like even if you see me doing some of the stuff for you, there's still plenty of room for you to do a lot of the stuff yourself.
Yeah. I just have to make the forms bigger to add more information.
That's right. We're definitely gonna have to make the forms bigger. All right. So for the homework, what you're gonna do, I'm gonna have you do a few things. I'm not gonna have you do any queries this time. We'll do queries on the next homework, but for this one, you're just gonna fill in those grades, right? Because there's some missing for these students. You're gonna fill in a bunch of grades. You're going to also go to the rooms, or I'm sorry, you're gonna open up classes and rooms, and you're just gonna have rooms over here off to the side, and you're gonna have classes over here. Oops. And what I want you to do is just pick all the rooms that make the most sense. And you can even add some rooms if you want to add some rooms. Like if this isn't good enough for you, feel free to add some rooms. Oops. Feel free to add some. But what I want you to do though is actually come over here and like make sure they're not all room one. And the other thing is I want you to come over here and fix the time slot and the hours as well for every single class.
Okay.
So for example, if you have, you know, let's see, you have algebra 2 in, you know, room 1 at 12 o'clock, well, there should not be another class happening at that time. There should not be another class until 1 hour later, which is 1 o'clock.
I have a question.
Yes.
You made, can you go scroll to the left, please? I noticed room ID is all the same.
Right. I just put every class in the first room, but you're gonna
shouldn't that be auto number, and then you should put like make just the ID. And
no, because we don't want it to automatically pick what room it is. I want you to tell it, you know, room 2. You know, if it's auto number, it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And plus, we already have an auto number. It's right here. Because this is the class table. Only the first one should be auto numbered.
Right, because it's a bridge. Right.
Mm-hmm. This just links you to this. And this is the auto number. Because look, this is the primary key. This is a foreign key.
Oh, I'm just a little confused.
Okay, so do you remember the talk we had about primary keys and foreign keys?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna just review that real quick. You can have, you see the little key symbol?
Yeah.
That means primary key. That should be auto number. Anytime you see an ID, it should not just always be auto number. It's only auto number when it's the primary key. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So on this bridge, this is auto number because it's the primary key.
Yeah, you can see the little key symbol.
Exactly. And student ID, primary key. Why is it not primary key here? I mean, why is it not auto number here? Because it's not the primary key. Students don't live in the grades tables. Students live in this table. That's why it's the primary key here, and that's why it's auto number. Okay. And if you come over here, rooms don't live in the classes table. A room and a class is 2 different things. Rooms actually live over here. The information about a room is found here, which is where the primary key and the auto number is. If you don't auto number this, this is not a primary key. This is not where rooms live. This is the information about the class. That's why class ID is the primary key here.
Right.
This is the information about the room, just the physical location. This is where that information is. This is where the primary key is. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Look, I expect you to forget, and I expect to have to jog your memory again. Please do ask questions because, again, this is stuff people take a very long time to learn and stuff that people spend a lot of time on. And so you're going to have to see it once, twice, 3 times for it to really stick. So definitely do ask questions if any of this is confusing.
Okay.
All right. So I told you what you needed to do, right? You're going to fix grades. You're going to fix the room IDs on the classes. You're basically going to, you know, make sure they're not all in room 1. You're going to fix the times. Oops. Time slots. Obviously, everything can't be at 12. That's ridiculous. Hours, you can leave them all as 1 hour classes. If you want to change it, you can. You can make some 1.5 if you really want to. You know, whatever it is, 2 hour classes, 1.5 hour class, like whatever you want to do. You can. Oh, it changed 1.5 to 2. You see that? Oh, no. We don't want whole numbers. We want to be able to do decimals too. No. Yeah, so it says an integer. So we don't want an integer. What we want is a double. Or, well, we could do a decimal. Yeah. Do a decimal. All right. Now let's try it. But still no. What did I change? Did I fix this? Yes, this is decimal.
That's the field size. That's not the. Let me look real quick.
No, that's right. Should be. Okay, let's try double.
Oh, it says decimal place is auto. Maybe that's why.
Maybe, but let's just try a double because I know a double. Okay, yeah, we'll stick to double.
Well, hold on. Go back to that.
Yeah.
It said decimal place is auto. Maybe that's why it was like auto rounding the decimal places.
Yeah, that is why. But I'm going to stick to a double because I don't even want to deal with rounding and the rules of decimals. We'll just go with double. A double is very similar to a decimal, so don't worry about it. I'll explain the difference another time. But I don't even want to have to deal with like any of that. So yeah, so that's what you're going to do. And lastly, yeah. And lastly, what I want you to do as well. So I hope, did you write all that down? Maybe I should write it all down for you.
I can pull up my notes.
Tell you what, I will email it to you. Yeah, I will email it to you. Don't worry.
Okay.
Lastly, I want you to go in here and fix any broken queries. Most of these should still work, but there should be at least one broken one. Really? They all work? They all work?
Maybe that's just the way it works in Access. Like, if you look at the code is probably different.
No, this one's broken. Found one. I don't know, how do I close all these windows at once? There we go. This one's broken. So you're going to fix this one. Looks like you're going to have to. Why is this one broken? Oh. You know what? Even though we didn't break this today, we broke this from another change. You're going to fix that one too. And yeah. All right. So yeah, you just have 2 to fix. You have this one and this one. These 2.
Okay.
All right. So that's it. I'm gonna go ahead and halt the thing, and we are finished. So I'm gonna stop sharing, and that's the end.